Morning and welcome. You are with the Skeinz Diaries. It is episode 158. You're with Marie here on a very lovely, delightful, and wonderful May the 5th. Hope everything is good at your place. And of course, this is the first Thursday of every month, which means that we have our regular catch up. And with my beanie twin for birthday week. Happy birthday, my Star Wars baby, for yesterday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, it is May the 4th has come and gone again, and I'm another year older. Still looking fresh-faced at 32, thanks to my incredible dermatology team at Casey. Just doing the Lord's work, those girls. But yeah, it was a good birthday yesterday. I've actually finished my birthday cardigan. I'm literally just weaving in ends while we talk.
I don't know. I saw that. I got 32. I'm just trying to remember where I moved here.
Did you?
No, I just moved here. I got married when I was 32. There you go.
Oh my
That's what
goodness.
I did when I was 32. I got married.
Well, there's hope for me yet then.
I know. Just, it's got lost in the winds of time.
Oh. At least didn't get lost in the winds of change, because then we'd be whistling really annoyingly. There's a Scorpions reference for all of you youthful kids at home.
Yes, who love, good, European rock.
Oh, isn't that an oxymoron, though?
I know.
Sorry, everyone.
I used to have a boarder who lived with me for years, off and on, would travel, and he was Swedish. And apparently, there's this whole sort of death metal Swedish rock thing.
I listened to a lot of Swedish death metal.
No, I got introduced to the Helicopters when we lived together. Oh, okay, right.
Helicopter, classic.
Yes,
classic.
So he was a Helicopter man. Anyway, we digress. So I thought
Surprise.
I don't know about you, but I have been loving. It's funny, April's a funny old month. It's kind of like that transition month. And then
it is that transition month.
Yeah. And we've had, those crazy short weeks. And then we've rocked into May. Like the 1st of May rolled around on the weekend. And like I don't know what it's like in Christchurch at the moment, but here all the trees are turning. It is just a riot of colour. It is beautiful. We've got beautiful, crisp, clear, sunny days with those cool mornings and evenings. So you can sort of snuggle up. And it feels good. I walked out. I had my project bag there and everything. I actually got stuck into back into the Limerick sweater. Yes. And I nearly finished my second sleeve last night. I've got this much left.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Look at you go.
I was quite proud of myself. Whacked on a murder mystery that Skeinz Diaries. Yes, a Harlan Corbin TV adaptation.
Okay, so I have signed up for the Acorn TV, everyone.
And I love the Acorn.
You know what? Honestly, 80% of it is complete trash, but totally watchable trash.
Yeah.
Like, I said this to someone the other day, like, not everything needs to be this, like, the problem with the Netflix dramas, I think we can all agree, is, like, they're all trying to be, like, so serious and so good. And it's like, no, not everything needs to be good.
Have you done Harry yet?
No, I'm currently watching the Queens of Mystery, which is about 3 sisters who raise their orphan daughter. And, like, it is... I just want everyone to know it is schlocky. It is campy. It is not designed to be good. Don't go to this for good.
That's next on my list. Yeah. And the other, have you done
so watchable.
And the Madame Blanc mysteries?
No. Okay. So this is what happened. I signed up because my favorite television show of all time is Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, yes, it's on there.
Yes. It's coming. They've announced that they are getting Murder, She Wrote, which is really exciting. But my second favorite television show of all time, and I'm not kidding, is called Rosemary and Thyme. This is a hour-long BBC murder mystery show, and it's 2 single ladies in their 50s, and they travel around England staying in charming little towns in a beat-up old Range Rover, and they solve murders as they go. And, like, you know what? I saw it was on there, and I had to. I had it. It was
Yeah,
required.
I've watched when Rosemary and Thyme first came out. I watched all of them, loved them
Yeah.
because that was gosh, I think that was what early 2000s or late 90s,
Early 2000s.
early 2000s, yeah. And then I watched them all again when they were on Sky, and then I see they're back on there. And
Yeah.
well, I am very addicted to the Acorn. I love the Acorn, and it's yes,
It's still good TV. You don't
it
have
is,
to go to it and like worry that like there's not all this other stuff happening, and it's all pretty. Like everything is very like glossy and soft, and like the lighting is nice, and the storylines are easy to follow, and like
absolutely. And I've even just done. I redid Grant Chester right up until the new Vicar.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I stopped because it's kind of like if Sydney's not there, I'm not interested.
It'd be like if they ever like had tried to keep going with the Vicar of Dibley with a new vicar. Like no point.
No, it doesn't work. So they were good. I'm glad. I know this sounds crazy, but because I don't watch a tremendous amount of TV, but I do like being able to. And actually, Phil and I have talked about this a lot. Is we're just finding that things are so dark, like things have become so dark that I just love being able to switch off onto these really lovely, delightful twee sort of shows.
That's
because
all I want.
And I can sit there and sort of knit and if I can burgle a couple of hours to be able to do that is just bliss.
Television is supposed to be escapist. It would be like, if we had all decided to sit down en masse and watch the movie Pandemic as a group, like a year ago, no, thank you.
No. So I have to admit, so I've been watching, actually, we just finished it yesterday, The Stranger, which was a British, it was a Netflix, but it's a British production, and it had all like Richard Armitage and Dervla Kirwan and, it's just pretty much if you've watched Game of Thrones and any British BBC production in the last 20 years, it had everybody. Stephen Ray, they were all in there. And I mean, Harlan Coben is a very sort of Scandinavian. I think he's Scandinavian. I'm not sure, but it's a British.
I want to say he's Swedish.
Yeah, I want to say Swedish too. And his books, so this is the British adaptation of his book, The Stranger. And I love me a good mystery. And I love it when I don't figure out like the twists. So, because I'm a shocker for going, oh, well, that one's, if I do Midsummer Murders, I can tell you before the credits even open who the murderer was, most likely. It's not that. And I love it. And it was, so that was actually quite good. I enjoyed that. And so that was our evening TV watching. But Harry Wild is what I'm doing on Acorn at the moment. That's my guilty pleasure. And I understand people tell me that it's also on Sky.
Okay, well, yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to be doing the Queens of Murder until I'm done that, and then I'm going to rewatch Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries.
Oh yes, we love those two. Anyway, people are leaving now because we're talking about telly. Sorry, I know. Sorry about knitting. Let's talk about knitting. Have you finished? I was padding for time because I'm trying to see if you got it finished. Can you hold it up?
Well, it's finished enough to show. Like definitely, cool. I've just got the sleeve ends to weave in now. So this is my
that looks good.
This is my new cardigan. So this is theoretically the quintessential cardigan.
Yes.
Except that it has almost nothing in common with the quintessential cardigan except for the stitch counts. Because I went on a journey. So what happened was I was looking at this pattern and I wanted to use this lovely, beautiful hedgehog fiber ozone DK. Now this is 100% superwash merino. So it needed seams and structure in order for it to turn out well.
The quintessential cardigan is by whom?
Church Mouse Yarn and Tees, actually.
Wow.
So they were a yarn shop on Bainbridge Island, just outside of Seattle. One of the 5 Seattle luminary yarn shops.
Yeah.
And they have unfortunately closed their doors, but they're still releasing patterns. And you too can go on and purchase the quintessential cardigan and then knit it completely differently. Because it annoyed me because it didn't have any selvage stitches. So we all know I added those. And then it was cropped, so I lengthened the body. And then it had incorporated button bands. So I took those out and I did these beautiful traditional double knit fully faced button bands that are seamed onto the selvage stitch of the button band, including the buttonhole band is also double knit. So these were knit separately, blocked, and then seamed on afterwards. I went real old school, full scale Elizabeth Zimmerman, picked up collar, knit double, folded down, and sewn to the pickup ridge inside.
I love me a folded sewn over collar. There is something, it is a thing of absolute pure joy.
It is. And it's so comfortable once it's on. I'm really, really thrilled. All the work I put into this was definitely worth it. And I will say this one knits up really stunningly in Bohemia. I have to just put a plug out there for this. And the nice part about doing it in Bohemia is the reason I made all these modifications is A, because I'm pedantic and crazy, and B, because using superwash yarn, this needed a lot of help to stay stable and structured for the rest of its life. So these modifications were to make this work with this beautiful yarn. And if you were to do it in a superwash yarn, I would absolutely recommend doing it the way I have. However, this knits up so incredibly well in Bohemia because of that 3.75 millimeter needle gauge. And it also is stunning in knits. Someone has one in knits on the go. And this is a cardigan that I would describe as absolutely not yarn forward. You can knit this in any DK weight yarn. It doesn't matter if you wanted to use bandit or vintage or literally any DK weight yarn from either of our ranges. You will end up with a perfect fitted, tailored little garment. This is classic. It's a little bit retro. Some would call it old fashioned, but like, guys, we're knitting our own clothes here. Like not everyone be this modern fairy tale.
And you know, the thing is that it gives you a cardigan that is, and you can just, you have, as you said, it's like a foundation piece. It's a foundation pattern. And then you just do your renovations on it. And, you know, like, so you've gone and done that, that double knitted button band. See, I would be inclined, knowing the button bands I like, I would have actually extended the fold over ribbed collar. I would have actually done a fold over ribbed button band with a garter fold line and actually stitched it down.
Absolutely.
That's me. Yeah.
That's another great option. I'm experimenting with these double knit bands. So this is from Sarah Solomon adapting the button band recipe from the 1912 Home and Garden Knitters Guide, which is a North American thing that no longer exists. So she revamped those instructions in 2016 for interweave. And
so are they mattress stitched? Is it knitted double and then mattress stitched?
So it's double knit separately. So, and then you mattress stitch along the incorporated selvage. So there's an incorporated selvage stitch here, and you stitch it to the main body. And I used a garter selvage stitch because with superwash yarns, I like garter because it holds onto itself.
So is it double knit as in double knitted?
Yes, double knitted.
Double knitted, right.
It's double knitted. So it's a double knitted strip. This one is 8 stitches by 8 stitches. So 8 stitches on each side.
Right, yeah.
And I did the old school 1 stitch offset button band methodology where you move the buttonholes closer to the edge by 1 stitch because you're going to have this, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but there is an extra row of visible stitches. So I moved my buttonholes over one so that it would appear more visually centered once it was seamed on. And that's this is a very neurotic decision. I just want to be clear with everyone. This is like, I have enough knitted clothing. I don't need to rush to finish anything anymore. I'm wearing like one of the world's most complicated cardigans. And so when I sat down to do this, I wanted to really celebrate the art of finishing and just really push myself to make something as beautiful and as well thought out and intricate as possible. And I'm just so happy with it. It's just come out so gorgeous. And literally, once I've woven in these last few ends while we're here on air, I'm going to switch cardigans, even though I haven't put the buttons on yet. And I did, like, I've gone full crazy with this. I went out and got these very petite and beautiful shanked blue go onto it, which if you've watched the breakfast bourbon, but look at how perfect those are, just sunk into that double knit button band. That shape just give it so much support.
Structure. Yeah.
And so
Christine's asking, would the band be okay done as a pattern in Bohemia? Look, absolutely. Bohemia for that design. I mean, as Ethan was saying before, Christine, any DK yarn would be perfect in that design, which is why it's so ideal. And also, as Ethan said, it's a double knitted piece. So it's, hold on, let me just jump back up onto here. So you're actually knitting this double face connected fabric like this. So something that sock mortician Nathan Taylor is huge on. He's a big fan of double knitting. So it is sort of knitted that way.
I hate double knitting.
And as he said, pedantic. However, as I also said, you don't have to do it that way. I mean, you could just do the button band as written in the pattern, which you said was
in the pattern integrated beautifully. It's integrated with live stitches for the collar, so it does work beautifully in a yarn like Bohemia that has that little bit of haze and so much grip.
Yeah. Or you could do a folded band. There are so many different bands that you could do. You could extend the button band out and actually just put an I-cord edging around that if you wanted. I mean, the neat
about
thing
how you're going to wear it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I button my cardigans. I wear them largely buttoned all the way to the neck 90% of the time. I don't think most people wear their cardigans buttoned like that. So for me, the double knit button bands are so worth it because it's going to be buttoned and unbuttoned 50,000 times, right? If you're someone who's making this quintessential cardigan because it's that perfect layering piece to toss on with a skirt or a high-waisted pair of pants or over top of a light dress, perfect for this transitional weather that we're having, as we know. I like to call autumn cardigan season. Then that's what you're going to want to aim for, right? Like grab something that works perfectly for that season. And if you're someone who's going to wear your cardigan open, well, then who cares? It's like if you were to knit a timely. Now, we have a beautiful timely sample in the shop, and it doesn't button. And the sample is sized for Deb. So what we've done there is we've actually left our one without buttons or buttonholes because Deb's never going, it's A, not intended to close, and B, Deb doesn't like the extra buttons when she's wearing a garment that's just going to hang open, right? So if you're someone who wears your cardigans open, then maybe you don't, as Marie said, maybe you don't even do the button bands. Maybe you just do I-cord. Like there's 1,000 ways to skin the cat, and Marie and I have done it every which way you can possibly imagine. Because between the two of us, I don't think either of us have ever successfully fully followed a pattern.
No, well, yeah, I have under duress generally 9 times out of 10. Or if I'm doing it for somebody else, I
do follow Nora's patterns to the letter. I will actually say, but it's because her and I agree on everything. Yes. So it's basically
now the one you're wearing, that's Suzanne Summer Snow. Yes.
No, this is So Day by Hiroko Kane. It's only available at the moment still in
liner, isn't it?
6, but more to come on that. We are hard at work on that, Hiro and I. So don't worry, friends. And there's also, I will say, there is a new Hiroko Kane pattern in testing currently, and I'm one of the people testing it. And you're going to want to have your needles clear for that, kids. And you're going to want to have some Bohemia stashed for it as well. Just warning you. It's knit on a 4mm needle. And if you are thinking about Gothic, it will also be a great choice for Gothic. Yeah, not to start that already.
No, but, I know. Look, it'll be here before we know. I've actually gone and grabbed some Bohemia because this is the perfect. No, well, this is the perfect time of year, I think. Bohemia is one of those yarns that, I mean, the only reason I've done this is because we are really well stocked at the moment. And I think in terms of stock, there's only us and HQ. I think we're,
pretty much it at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and this is what there is for Bohemia for quite a while, guys.
Yeah. we did the complete restocking. It looks really great on the shelf. It's a great time of year. Often this time of year too, we are wanting to knit something with that beautiful possum in there. I mean, this is a cardigan, and I mean, let's talk a little bit about this with wear actually, because this cardigan I've worn quite deliberately today. This is the very first Miss Jane I ever knitted. And anyone that knows me, I've knitted this cardigan a lot and modified this every which way known to man. And this
some only known to women.
Exactly. So this is, and I knit this Miss Jane when the pattern was released, which I think was something like '06, somewhere like that. So it's been around for a long time. Now, the reason I'm showing this to you, and I have just pulled this out of the wardrobe, it hasn't been defuzzed, nothing. I knitted it exact to pattern. It is one of the very few designs and garments that I own that has not been modified. And it was knitted in a yarn that we did, which has a very similar composition to Bohemia. So it's essentially a wool possum yarn.
Yeah,
it hasn't got the alpaca, but it's got the same percentage of possum, and it has worked beautifully and worn. It had its slight little fluffy period, but I just sort of,
they
did
do
a
go
basic
through that fluff period, everyone.
They do have that fluff period, but now it looks great and it feels fantastic. So if you're wanting to sort of do a beautiful possum project, sometimes you don't necessarily need to do something really intricate to create something amazing. It's about this beautiful, rich, unctuous fabric that you're going to be creating in your Bohemia.
I actually have to say, I think that going too intricate, there's some feedback on mine, sorry. Is that echoing for everyone, or is it just me?
This might be it. I'll turn mine down a little. So.
Okay, well, the joy of doing something like that, let's see, maybe headset might help us, save us from this doom. The joy of doing something intricate like that is, no, we're still echoing back and forth. What is going on there? Sorry, everybody, just give me 2 seconds. Is that better? That feels better.
There we go.
Okay, perfect. So what we want to talk about with this is when we're talking about these gorgeous fabrics, we don't want to be doing anything too crazy. Not that they don't do intricate well, but let's all be honest. I think we all have enough going on in our lives that some nice big pieces of stockinette are actually what we really want right now. Like, I will tell you, this cardigan has been such a comfort to knit because it was just straight pieces and then seaming it together. And there's no thinking, there's no trying to track 17 raglan increases on every round, or, going on some deep, dark hunt to figure out how to do some ludicrous, weird, twisted stitch back over, sideways, underneath thing. I love you, Isabel Kramer, but like, calm down with those. Yeah. And all I really want at the moment is just massive swaths of stockinette. And Bohemia and any of the yarns like that are perfect for stockinette. There's nothing that shows off the beauty of the fiber, the natural fiber. And like, if you put all of that money out for the yarn, you really want a pattern that makes the yarn sing. So you want to think about something that's knit at a gorgeous gauge. Yeah. Again, simple, classic basics. And like, we all know that I am the king of pushing everyone for seams. So like, let's all be honest here. I'm never going to stop ranting on about it. I've been on my soapbox for a long time. And I haven't lost my voice yet. So you're welcome.
Well, I jumped on before I came on for preparation to catch up with you about this morning. I actually jumped on and spent a time looking at Julie Hoover's site. She's got a fabulous website. So I think it's actually juliehoover.com. I'll just double check, actually.
It is just juliehoover.com.
Juliehoover.com. It is a great site. I prefer looking at her designs on her website as opposed to Ravelry, guys. So I
don't want to say that we're giving up on Ravelry team.
No, but I just find that her site, her photography is fantastic. And she has got the ethos that you're talking about, very classical, wearable pieces that you will absolutely thrash, and it allows the yarn to sing. It allows the yarn to really express themselves.
We're Hooverites here at Outlaw HQ. We've decided to start a sub-religion to our cult of Agnes, the Hooverites. And like the pièce de résistance of her collections to me are the patterns that actually work as a twin set when knit. So Klein, which is, I believe, one of the most knit patterns ever on Ravelry. Klein is spectacular. It is a deep raglan, so it works for all body types. It has that double rolled collar that we've all talked about loving. The pieces are simple, they're knit flat, they're seamed together. And it was originally designed for Zielana. So it's designed to work with possum already. So we can tell you now that we know it works well. And it knits up beautifully in Bohemia. And because it's a deep, deep raglan, the seams are all one-to-one. There's no trying to ease a sleeve cap. There's no trying to think your way through it. There's no trying to figure out like what ratio to do at the top while you're trying to ease around those edges. So if you're new to seaming or you've taken a long break from seaming, this is a great pattern to come back to. And it has an alternating cable cast on, which, spoiler alert, I love an alternating cable cast on. And it's a perfectly balanced garment. And it works as a twin set with her other pattern, Pearson, which is probably in my top 5 favorite cardigans ever designed. Pearson is slightly A-line. Again, deep raglans, has the same shape. That's the nature of a twin set. We want the same armhole shaping on both garments. And it has a double knit button band and pockets, but it's just one single continuous button band and a single button buttoning it closed. And what you get when you knit a Julie Hoover piece is you get a garment that will last forever, that will stand the test of time, and you're going to reach for it just over and over and over again, and you're going to love it forever. And I knit a lot of Julie's patterns. My Redford is Julie Hoover.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the one.
Too.
Parker is the one I am so jonesing over at the moment, which is the stunning long line cardigan. And, this, now I looked, this is an everything cardigan. I mean, you could do this in Bohemia, you could do that in Rebel, could do
just
that.
1 second. Someone's about to pop into the office. It's down at number 8, Richard. Helen has the key for you. Thank you.
That's right. It would be amazing in Rebel. It'd be amazing in Bohemia. It'd be incredible.
Sorry, everybody. It's just Ethan at HQ right now.
I know. Bandit, Southlander. There are so many things that you could work with.
Not yarn forward design, guys. These designs do not require you to hunt out unicorn butt fluff held triple with, dyed by the tears of a virgin at midnight on the summer solstice. These are commercial patterns for commercially made yarns, which means they're accessible, they're knittable, and you can stash dye, you can dig in. There's so much great stuff there. And there's no bad patterns. You can't look at a Julie Hoover pattern and find a bad one. And they're timeless. And she's got, if you're looking for complexity and intricacy and a challenge, Julie's not your girl.
No.
She's not here for that. She is there to make garments, and I mean this honestly, garments that make you feel beautiful and make everybody feel beautiful. Because, look at them. There's not a single model there who looks uncomfortable. None of these women are trying to pull anything down or shift around in it, because we can all tell when a model's doing that in photos. Cough, cough, pom, pom. And that's not happening here. They're moving around in the garments. You can see that they're sitting well. And what I love is you might notice that Julie shows most of her patterns seated and standing, which for a lot of us is really important. And she also has a really good way. She grades the ease on her patterns. So you don't end up feeling like you're wearing a tent, even when you're wearing a pattern with ease.
Yeah, see, I've just said this is Sidwell. Yeah. I've just got them pulled up because, again, I had a feeling that because that was knitted originally in Zilana Rimu. So if you want to do something really beautiful that will make the best of your Bohemia yarn.
Yeah, exactly.
Gorgeous. And you throw it over. Yeah, amazing.
And again, Gingerbread by Libby is another one to think about. Those twisted stitch patterns around the bottom. do really great. Controversial opinion, I'm a big fan of Hina. Um, this is a controversial thing for a lot of people. I think it's actually my favorite of Libby's patterns by far. Now, I love a giant big neck,
Yeah.
and I love texture. And to me, that shape on Hina, that slight A line, again, almost every single person looks good in an A line, right? And I think that a lot of what happens for a lot of us is when we're looking at these designers and these designs, oftentimes, and they're good designers who make good choices overall, but Andrea and Caitlin, who are two of the most popular designers by pattern volume on Ravelry, they're very tiny people. Um, and that's not necessarily helpful even to me, even though I'm a relatively small person. I've got giant ass shoulders. And Julie especially has just this artful skill of designing clothes that fit everybody. And it's so great to find things. And I know that a lot of us have become experts at making modifications to make everything work. Marie and I could tell you until the end of time the 1,800 modifications we do on every single garment, and we've done it before. So go back and watch old episodes. But it is nice just to be able to cast on something and just knit the pattern.
Yeah.
It's really refreshing. And that's what you do, Julie.
No. Oh, it is. It's awesome. And there are just so many, just so many to choose from. And often too, if you're looking, I mean, the hardest thing is that's the one downside with Ravelry, is that it is really difficult you get overwhelmed. Whereas I find that if I am going to be looking for something, I'm now just going to a few select designers, noragowan.com, juliehoover.com, Brooklyn Tweed.com,
Brooklyn Tweed, Veronique, Avery.
And just starting there, and I'm finding 9 times out of 10, I'm finding what I'm looking. Now, I also grabbed these because I just love these colors, and you may think, well, why have I gone and pulled all of these out like this?
Because they look smashing together.
Because they do look smashing together. And I've done this because I see that Stephen West has just released another painting, the painting bricks. The blanket. And I know that you and I privately have talked about this, that part of the reason you were encouraging him to do this is that there are so many so many projects. Exactly. And that so the beautiful thing about the painting bricks blanket is really you're just needing your format to get your bricks sorted.
Exactly.
And I mean, I've pulled this up. Not everyone is going to do a blanket from scratch in Bohemia. Now, mind you, Ethan and I will love you long time if you chose to do that and purchase the yarn from us. We will think you the best thing ever.
Look, it will make you like a personal shout out video if you decide to do this. Like, let me tell you, kids. And I have to say, I have a queen sized blanket. I have a queen size starf blanket in Bohemia, that I use on my bed in the winter. It is the best thing I've ever made, and that's saying something.
Which is why I've done this, because lots of people did the star blankets and the star flakes, and they did, you end up with all these scrappy pieces. You may have in your stash, you've bought that, you've got one ball left over of Gothic, or half a ball of Bohemia, or you may have some I don't know what. You could even have left over some Vanitas. You just don't know what you've got in there.
Or some garnet, or some of the weird oddball colors that you never see anymore.
All those crazy
Tourmaline
colors. Exactly. And so this is where something I've got to grab this. This is London Town, which is the dark grey. You then find a color. London Town, I think, is perfect. Erebus is the other color that I think would be perfect for this.
London Town, Erebus, Dovecote,
and you gather up all those stray balls and part balls that you have roaming around, and you pull them all together. I do my scrappy blankets and crochet, you all know that, but this is where that painting bricks blanket is the time for you to consolidate in your
Mhm.
stash all those little extra bits and pieces, because the reality of it is you, even if you can't complete a full brick in one color, it doesn't matter if you have to change colors partway through.
Just stripe it.
Just stripe it, you know. But the big trick is you will have, and you can even stripe these colors. Just go hog wild. Just have some fun with it,
Yeah,
because it's all about cleaning stuff
absolutely.
up and creating stuff that's crazy. So
The
I
nice
think
part too is the framing, those
mm,
brick framing things. Even if you have wild and bright colors, so like right now, one of our customers is using the hedgehog fiber advent to do the painting honeycomb shawl. And what she has done is she had this super luxe, very expensive and beautiful advent calendar, right? And we all love an advent calendar, but what are we going to do? I have a prop at hand. What are we going to do with 1,500 minis? Because like, no, no, thank you. I don't know why I bought one of these, because like I am never going to wind these. Um, please help. But what happens is then what she did that was super smart is she went on and bought a entire batch of Baby Bandit in Innocence. So she has this creamy white crisp
mm,
edges. And so everything that she puts in the middle, she's striped them. She's done mixed rows. She actually did a little bit of color work in one section, I think. Um, and it looks amazing. And that's something to really remember, right? Like what Marie is saying is buy a neutral, frame in the neutral, and everything that goes inside of it looks like a little jewel window. But because it's broken up, it won't, trust us, it won't look crazy. And Marie and I have done our fair share of making things that are crazy, because you think to yourself, well, this is a good idea. And then 3/4 of the way through, you realize it's not, but you're too far in. So you don't stop.
no, no, you
But
don't.
we are here to help. Oh, I think we also might have fog and parchment available simultaneously, which is a rarity in
Very
Bohemians.
rare, very rare.
They
Yeah, I've
sell
got the
so
parchment.
fast. So
Yeah,
if
they do.
you are someone who's like, oh, but what, I don't really like bright colors, kids, get your fog, get your bone, get your parchment, get your Erebus, get your London Town and your Dovecote, and make a neutral one.
Which is why so I
Oh,
grabbed these. I
Imperial
know. And
Radiance.
well, I did that because this is in light. This is Bohemia Light. And
Yes.
the reason I grabbed this is someone, I worked in the shop on Friday for a few hours, and
Hmm.
someone came in with a dolly from Libby.
Hmm.
So this is dolly there. It's only fairly recently available for general purchase. And this was a wardrobe toolbox pattern, and it was knitted in parchment.
Hmm.
So it was done in Bohemia Light parchment,
Yeah,
and these were the two colors she had with it,
absolutely.
and it looked amazing. But the thing with Dolly is that, see, not the contrast colors. You only require brain engaged, because I looked this up and then now of course I can't find it. There we go. So on the, yeah, see, you're only looking at 60 at this is the biggest size, 67
Hmm.
meters of one color, and then 161 meters on the largest size, which is essentially a ball. So one
Yes.
ball of the main contrast one, and then just a part ball of the other. Well, if you've got, a little bit of Bohemia Light floating around and you're wanting to use it with something, amazing,
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
And
Use it up.
don't forget, for those of you who have pre-ordered, this is coming to your hot little hands soon. So this is my copy, also known as the shop copy, and I'm not allowed to open it and show you what's inside. But this is all done in that Rosamine technique. If you've been
Mhm.
watching me, you know I made a Selly cardigan. That took me literally a year to make, because I knit 12 other things in the meantime. But that's classic Ethan. Starts a project, is like, ooh, that technique's annoying. What has happened in this one is all of the Rosamine technique is done in worsted or DK. So if you've got
Mm.
little bits and pieces kicking around, buying and stashing a main color's worth and setting that aside for yourself right now, if you're going to be getting this into your hot little hands. And if you're waiting, all of our copies are sold out, and they are sold out at Lina. So it will take a little bit for them to come back. But and don't forget that Lina 14 also comes soon. Always a great opportunity to use up stuff. Now, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to open this or not, but if Lina catches me on this, well, then they're already watching. So thank you for coming to play. But Sylvia Watts Cherry has done it again with another gorgeous scrap-busting pattern, right? And we all know that this will be in the magazine for 5 minutes, and then you'll be able to buy it. And this is in DK weight, because she's a British designer, and she's the queen of color work in Intarsia. And how amazing would that be in Bohemia, right?
Yeah.
So now is the time for A, stashing, but also B, immediate luxury casting on. And I have to say as well, we often forget about it because I don't think Marie or I would ever actually finish one if we started. But the ultimate in luxury would be to knit a Penguono jacket by Stephen West with Bohemia held double.
Now, Deb started knitting a Penguono. Whatever happened to that?
So
shouldn't I?
Deb has a habit of knitting past 10 p.m., which we're working on. We're trying to reform Deb on the knitting past 10 p.m. So it has one beautiful, perfect sleeve and one sleeve that I'm not sure what human body it's shaped for, but it's certainly not Deb's. So we're gonna be ripping that back in a little bit to get Deb to finish it because everyone needs to see it because it's amazing. There's also a painting honeycombs jacket by Stephen West. Like if you're not a blanket or an accessory
just come up,
person,
there's a sleeve issue.
There's a sleeve issue. However, the fabric it's produced with it held double is freaking awesome. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't know, like right now, you guys have a very small window of time before the cold actually comes for you. And if these taste of the beautiful crisp mornings haven't inspired you to want to knit with Bohemia, we don't know what can.
Yeah.
So what we would say right now is rush out or, click on a new tab, depending on how you're doing this today, and get some Bohemia into your hands. If you guys need help picking colors as well, please, even if you're ordering from Skeinz, email me down at hq@outlawyarn.com. Always happy to help with pattern recommendations and stuff like that, because if there's one thing that I'm known for in this industry, it's my ability to navigate Ravelry at a speed that is astonishing. If there was like an Olympics for Ravelry navigation, I would be New Zealand's representative and we would win because I can find anything. But yeah, and like, I don't know, I have to say, I'm having a crazy urge to do Intarsia. I don't know about the rest of you. Like, maybe this is nutty. I don't know if I'm completely losing my mind, but I am definitely in a deep pit of like doing everything in my power to not cast on something. And when I say Intarsia, I mean like full-blown retro Martin Story, like flowers and chains Intarsia. Like,
let me just.
I might have bought a pattern.
Hold on, I'm just having a quick look. I've got my bookshelf right here, and I'm just glancing up and I'm looking. I've got about 5 calf facets sitting there.
Oh no. The other thing to remind all of you of is, you know what Bohemia Light is a perfect substitute for? And I'm just going to do this while Marie's off. She's going to fetch, we're going to show you some opposing colorwork theories, okay? So Marie's going to handle the Intarsia and I'm going to handle the Shetland.
Okay.
So
I've not got, I've actually gone, I actually featured one of these books the other day or the other week, and I grabbed it because this designer has done sort of kind of was one of the ones that brought Intarsia back a little bit in the early 2000s, and that is Joe Sharp.
Oh, Joe, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Look, we all love a little crazy now and then. Exactly. Oh, yeah. So on the Bohemia Light conversation, if you've got little bits and pieces floating around, one of the great ways to use Bohemia Light, so that's Intarsia in Bohemia, I fully recommend that. I was given this for my birthday.
Of course you were going to go there.
Because like, if there's one thing I love, it's something impossible to knit. So all of these patterns are available on Ravelry or through her website. This is Marie Wallen's Shetland.
Yeah.
The great thing about Shetland style.
Ethan has been trying to get me to knit in a Marie Wallen the entire time I've known him. He's not succeeded yet.
I will get there. And
Were
y'all
those
had
on
better
Bohemia
believe.
Light though? Because I think Bohemia Light knitted it on.
Yeah,
What gauge is she doing it on? Is she doing it on a
on a
classic Marie gauge?
3.25 millimeter. Yeah. So it's a dense gauge. It's
But
going to
you
be
didn't. You did the
absolutely
twigs on that though, didn't you?
I did it on a 275.
Yeah.
And it's bulletproof. It's gorgeous. The other thing is all of these are knit flat and fully seamed, although there are instructions to turn them into knit in the round and steeked if you would like. They're set in sleeves with slight A-line shaping. Look, this isn't modern. I just want to be clear. This is not a modern idea. I'm obviously off the modern knitting. But what they are is gorgeous, timeless pieces
Ooh, no,
that
I do
you
like
will wear
I love
again and again. Yeah.
it.
Marie has the best eye for banded color work in the entire knitting industry. There's no one, and I mean no one,
Yeah.
who does it like her. And so I just have to say that my next goal and dream, and if too much color work doesn't appeal to you, Marie's got you covered. Simple, beautiful, wearable. And this entire book was designed around Jameson's Spindthrift, which is a 2-ply construction fingering weight yarn. And you know what is a 2-ply construction fingering weight yarn? Bohemia Light. So this is the way to go. And again, it will also let you use up those little bits and pieces. There are yoked pullovers in here. There's all over colorwork pullovers. And then there is the pièce de résistance, in my opinion, of this book, a classic old school Shetland steeked coat.
Oh.
And, you just can't, you can't go wrong. Joe's designs, these designs, they are forever.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want, so like I know Joe's, actually she's joesharp.com, I think as well. It might be joesharp.com.au. I mean, both those books that I held up, I picked up at op shops, a lot, because she did a lot of printed copies, but she has moved digital now. So you can still get everything in her collection digitally, which is great. But it is just, there is something fun about going back and looking at those traditional patterns and having a little play around, because there's nothing, I mean, you don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. You can actually
Oh my
go
God,
back
I said that exact thing the other day.
Yeah.
Like, and there's we hate to tell you, everyone, there's no new ideas in knitting.
No.
Like, and the other thing is color work, cables, and stockinette are timeless. They're never going anywhere. You're never going to wake up one day and be like, oh, I hate cables. Oh, I hate color work. Oh, I hate stockinette. That's not going to happen. No. You might wake up one day and go, oh, I hate baubles.
Now, are we there for the reveal, Nelly?
Oh, I have to put buttons on, but I can actually put it on now because all the edges everything's woven in. Sorry, everybody. I've gotten quite a bit larger. I haven't seen myself on camera like this in a while.
Look at those guns now. Woo!
Yeah, someone's been spending a lot of time at the gym, an almost disproportionate amount of time at the gym.
Oh, look at that! We'll tuck that one on.
Yeah. Well, apparently I forgot. There's always one that you forget to trim. Yeah. So there it is.
Yeah,
classic. The other thing about the double knit button band, as you can see, it causes everything to hang perfectly straight. There's no deviation in the line of the cardigan. And so it means once it's buttoned over as well, you're going to have to shift these up because I knit these to bracelet length, everyone. This is intentional. I like a bracelet length sleeve on cardigans and pullovers.
Yeah. Do you want to spin around? Yeah. Spin right round for me, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, the nice part is this has short row shaping at the bottoms. That's why it's not riding up in the back.
Yeah.
But yes.
It looks
great. It's timeless and modern all at once.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm so happy. This was totally worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And see, look at that neckline though. I mean, that's the thing, that roll over collar. I love me a roll over collar.
It's so classic. Yes, this looks like something that you could have pulled, except for the color and the dye, obviously, because that's what's special about this. I wanted the color work and the dye to shine. And also all the work that I put in at the gym, I wanted to really show off. That's why I cut the sleeves quite fitted. Hello. And yeah, so here we can use I put stitch markers in to mark all of my buttonholes so they can actually function like fake buttons for the moment, because I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
Just for the record, friends, before you ever sew buttons on, place all your markers and make sure you're happy with the placement of your buttons. That's a top trick from the team here at Skeinz and Outlaw HQ. There we go.
Yeah. Fabulous.
See? And it buttons beautifully. I'm wearing a large necklace underneath that is causing this bulge. It's not the pattern.
No, that looks amazing. Looks amazing. Right. Well, thank you for joining us again. God, oh my God. I need to go and do that. But...
Hay fever.
Oh, I know.
Oh, God.
I know. It's because it's actually dry. As I mentioned the other day, I had the Rona over Easter. But I've come out the other side tickety-boo, which is all good. So that's always a good thing. So as we said, make sure you check out any of the people that we've talked about today. But the biggest thing is don't be afraid to cast on something fabulous and wonderful, but let the yarn do the talking. JulieHoover.com, as we mentioned, NoraGowan.com are two great places to start out and check out. Actually, and I'm going to do a quick...
And join me in my campaign to force Marie to knit a Marie Wallen pattern.
I know. All right, I'm going to keep going because I've been told that I need to go and be in the shop for a little bit this afternoon. Yay! Yeah, if I can get to terrorize people, woohoo! Makes me all exciting. But until
I have to be in the shop today too.
I know. Oh, that's the only other thing I will let you know is that we've had a slight delay in getting parcels out this week, but they should be all going out tonight. So it's an accounting thing. We haven't been able to roll stuff over, but that's now on the happen. That Claire did to tell me to let you all know. Right, that's us for another month. I will be catching up with everybody again, of course, on Monday. Have a great weekend knitting. The Hawke's Bay Marathon, I think, is here this weekend. And the one last thing, speaking of the shop, is from Monday of next week, we will be back to our regular hours, 10 till 3:30, which means that Saturday week, so not this Saturday, but from next Saturday, we'll be back open 10 to 1. Boom, boom. Very happy about that.
Amazing.
Until then, everyone take care. We will have a great weekend. I hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you again on Monday.
Bye.